I'm a 27 male, and my ex, 28 female, broke up with me a week ago. I'm still in the phase of struggling to process everything. In short, over the past few months, I noticed we were drifting apart, and I tried to address it with her. Every time I brought it up, she brushed it off, saying she was just stressed or tired. I trusted her and believed what she was telling me. But now I realize I was missing some major red flags. Last week, out of nowhere, she dumped me and moved out of our place on the same day. She told me she was feeling insecure about starting a life with me and wasn't ready for such a big step. She even hinted that she needed space to think about things and mentioned a friend she'd been spending time with, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Today, I found out from a mutual friend that she'd been developing feelings for this friend and had been getting close to him for a while. From what I've pieced together, it was at least an emotional affair, if not more. The day she broke up with me, she didn't just move out. She moved in with this guy. I never saw it coming, and I feel like such an idiot for not realizing sooner. What hurts the most is that she never had the decency to tell me the truth. She gave me some vague excuse about being nervous about my plans to settle down with her, but in reality, she'd been preparing to leave me for her boo thing. I feel so betrayed because I trusted her completely. She hates cheaters so much, so I never in a million years thought she would do something like this to me. I'm devastated. I'm questioning everything now, wondering if she was playing me the whole time. I really thought we had something special, and it's like my whole world has been turned upside down. I don't know how to move forward or even where to begin. How do you get past something like that? Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1. It's been a couple of days, and I'm still sad, broken, and trying to piece together how it all happened. Every waking minute is spent thinking about what I missed or what I could have done differently. Meanwhile, she's surrounded by friends who love and support her and AP together, while I'm by myself trying to piece my life back together piece by piece. I'm trying to find a way to have even a little bit of fun on my own, but it's not easy when all I can think about is them together. I've learned more details about their new life together, and it's tearing me apart. The guy she left me for is younger, has that bad boy vibe, and seems like the complete opposite of me. I'm more of a nerdy guy who works in tech. I make a lot of money, stable, caring guy she could depend on any time, but I'm not cool, and I know it. He's a bartender with a more cool and edgy persona. She's living out a perfect love story with him. It's so unfair. Why does she get her happy ending and not me? I've read all those stories about how relationships that start from cheating never last, about limerence and how it fades, but I can't convince myself that any of that applies here. I don't know where to go from here or how to stop these thoughts from eating me alive. I'm trying to focus on myself and find some sort of closure. Any advice on how to move forward would be really appreciated. Final update. Their love story is over, and I couldn't be happier in my life. Isn't it wonderful how they always get their karma? Basically, a few days ago, my ex reached out to me because she had some things she needed to collect from our place. Some final belongings she left behind when she moved out. She was dragging her feet about collecting them, so I was relieved and agreed to let her come by yesterday to pick them up. When she arrived, I could tell she was nervous and trying to make small talk, but I refused to engage. I just wanted her to get her stuff and leave. As she was packing up, she started talking about how she's no longer with the guy she left me for. She said it was never serious. He was just a fling, and that he has a girlfriend too. She made some comments about how she'd love to be dating again and how she wished someone would sweep her off her feet. I just kept quiet and didn't want to get sucked into whatever she was trying to start. She seemed to be fishing for some kind of opening to reconnect. If she was, I'd have to say she's off her rocker. I'd spent so much time convincing myself that she was happier without me, that she'd found something better, and trying to accept that. Now, knowing that things didn't work out for her and hearing about the mess she's been in with him, I just feel nothing. I feel absolutely nothing about her predicament. I have perfected the art of not giving a frick. She mentioned that things had been difficult with him, that he was controlling, jealous, and had a lot of issues. She hinted at feeling stuck and like she made a mistake. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that information. I'm not her savior, and after what she did, I don't think anybody would want to be. I didn't respond to her hints about dating again or wanting to be swept off her feet. I just let her talk while I watched the TV and sipping a beer. After some more yapping, she finally left when she realized I was not going to respond. She looked disappointed. I'm happy being single, at least for the time being. I'll surely get back to dating again, but not anytime soon. Story 2. I'm still in shock and numb. She cheated after 15 years, has been complaining about marital problems for some time, but maybe not what you think. She's loved on, desired, waited on, given space for interests, and to be with a vast network of friends. We have 4 kids, one with autism. High level, but still a life changer. Her complaint is that I'm not growing as a person. I come to suspect that that only means I'm not a Trump-hating liberal. I certainly lean libertarian, but I try to stay completely out of politics because my wife is completely unable to have irrational discussions about that sort of thing. I am essentially apolitical because of it. I drank a little more than usual, and she took the kids up to bed and left her phone right there. I looked in the camera roll and saw a few PG-13 photos that were never sent to me. I opened iMessage and did a search for the F word, and there it was. Someone in our social circle saying he was looking forward to fucking again. Wife's response was that her period was almost over, which was true to that time. I didn't snoop further because I didn't have time and didn't need more, really. In retrospect, I should have taken the phone and walked out the door and did an inventory of everything there was to find. Based on our discussions after the fact, I do believe she's being truthful about everything. So about 10 times of cheating with someone we're friends with. Our neighborhood, kids' soccer coach. In part of a very tight group of neighborhood friends we've developed, particularly in reaction to lockdown stuff. So she ruined our marriage. Theirs, if it comes out, and our complete ability to have a normal group of friends. It's going to be impossible to figure out how to lie to the kids about the reason I don't want to go to the barbecue at their house, etc. We are too covered in debt for this to be a neat breakup. Student loans every month prevent you from developing a financial cushion, and then when life's little emergencies come, you end up requiring credit. We were working our way through it now that my wife is working full-time and I'm working full-time. Living apart will be a financial disaster for both of us. We're going right to marriage counseling, but I'm still not sure if it's fixable. Not the cheating so much, but the bizarre demands that she needs to see growth, but only growth that meets her criteria. I'm never going to be a liberal and never pretended to be one. Believe me, this is a very nuanced situation that I couldn't adequately cover in a 100-page book. I was mentally preparing myself that she may decide that it wasn't going to work in the long term. But the nuclear bomb she dropped on our family situation was something I had not predicted. And the way in which I found out still feels like a dagger in my heart. My biggest complaint with her was that my love language involves touch, affection, and intimacy. She has done very little, if anything, to work on that. Only now I found out that what little attention she'd been paying to that has been outwards. The fact is, I'm sure during one of these days where she was cheating, she eventually went to bed next to a partner who was dying for her affection or intimacy, a groan. And then I was probably met with, at best, some duty sex, or at worst, outright refused. Thanks for reading. I feel dead inside, but I know there are others who have made it through, either by reconciling and making things better, or by leaving and powering through. She's blown up your marriage, probably torched any friendship you had with this guy, and nuked your entire social group. And now you're stuck trying to navigate this shitstorm with your kids, figuring out how to explain why you're not up for the neighborhood barbecues anymore. Marriage counseling's a good move, but honestly, I get why you're feeling unsure if there's anything to save here. This whole growth thing is such a vague cop-out. Seems like she's setting standards you can never meet unless you change who you are at your core. That's not fair. You can't just switch your beliefs and personality like a light switch to match hers. I can't even imagine how hard it must be to live under the same roof with all this hanging over your head, especially when finance makes a clean break impossible. The fact that you're both in debt and stuck financially together just adds to the pile of crap to deal with. And yeah, finding out that all the intimacy stuff she was denying you was being handed out elsewhere, that's gotta cut deep. You're there, starved for affection and feeling like you're always begging for scraps while she's out there giving it away to someone else. Whatever you decide, whether it's trying to work through it or just cutting your losses, you've got to prioritize yourself and the kids. You deserve someone who loves and respects you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. It's gonna be a rough road, but there's a way forward, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Stay strong, man. You'll get through this. Now for some comments. I understand financially it'll be hard, but there's nothing for you here. She is incredibly broke. She cheated, blames you. You need to change, takes no responsibility. There's no chance at reconciliation under those circumstances. As broken as divorce will make you, ultimately you'll come out a happier person. And please let the spouse know on the way out. She deserves to know that her husband's a cheater too. I hope you can find peace at some point. It will never be as long as she's in your life as anything other than a co-parent. You'll be very disappointed with your reconciliation effort. Why? It's impossible to reconcile when one spouse keeps moving the goalpost. Add to this, she has done very little to repair the damage and continues to seek attention elsewhere. Your situation may work long term if you're willing to continue to suffer the treatment you have been receiving. Likely, she will continue to escalate her behavior to see how far she can push you before she breaks you completely.